Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from in the world. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and you're tuned in to the Ordinary People Show. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. We're broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada, powered by GBKM Network. I'm in studio this fantastic sunny afternoon in the GTA, and everyone is excited. We're super excited because, as I mentioned to you last week, the countdown has begun. Today is June the 5th. And based on our premier's guidelines, we will be entering into phase one of the lockdown removal process on the 14th of June here in Ontario. And I know all of the restaurateurs are getting their patios ready, and the gyms and everybody else that can start to gather in very, very small numbers are super excited. I know we are at GBCAM. We can't wait to get back out there and cover your event, cover your live events as we do so often throughout the full course of the year. We desperately want to see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's make sure we're doing our social distancing. Wear your mask when you can so that we can continue to bring the numbers down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're back on the Ordinary People Show today with an absolutely another outstanding interview and an outstanding guest waiting in the wings. You know who's waiting in the wings for those of you who follow me on social media, and you know what the topic of discussion is going to be today. It's all about the Black Entrepreneurship program. It's about being a Black business owner. It's about finding out about how you can participate in the growth or partner with the federal government and other private institutions in the growth of your business. We're going to learn everything we need to know about the program that is currently on the table right now for Black business owners, and nobody knows it best than one of the partners that is engaged in the process, in the decision-making process for this program, and her name is Susan Henry, and I'll be formally introducing her after our first commercial break. She's waiting in the wings. We're super excited to have her, so we're going to get straight to it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Ordinary People Show today. You can find the Ordinary People Show here each and every Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, right on the GBKM network. If you're new to the GBKM network, well, let me tell you where you can locate us. We do have a 24-hour website that hosts our brand new platform called GBKM TV. We've got news, 24-hour music on our FM station, which is called GBKM FM. All of these can be found under our platform of GBKM Network. Live shows that are hosted throughout the full course of the week, music, comedy, and so much more. We're located, our office is located in the Humber River Black Creek area, and we are known here as the mouthpiece of the community. And we're eagerly anticipating getting back out into the community to cover all of the events and issues that matter to you. Look us up on our brand new website called www.gbkm.tv. And when you get over there, don't forget to download the absolutely free app so you can take GBKM everywhere you go. And this way you'll be notified every time the Ordinary People Show goes live. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you once again for tuning in today. We're going to thank our sponsor, New Era Communications, for giving us the opportunity to be on air today. New Era Communications is a professional sales training and speaking platform dedicated to training up-and-coming sales professionals and entrepreneurs about the gift that keeps on giving, and that would be the sales process, ladies and gentlemen. Look them up at www.neweracommunications.ca. As I mentioned to you, it's an exciting show today. Can't wait to get started. So what are we going to do? Get your pen and notepads out, because you know what? And email us if you've got some questions. My producer is working behind the scenes at trying to keep on top of all the questions that we get throughout the course of the show. We'll do our very best to respond to you live. If you're watching us on Facebook, like and share the feed. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Maybe you could be changing somebody's life today as a result of sharing this video feed with them. So Facebook, you can locate us at GBKM Network on Facebook. And once again, website is www.gbkm.tv. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back with our special guest today, Susan Henry from Alterna Savings Credit Union. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
We've got MP Sahota, Minister of Parliament from Brampton North.
And I've downloaded my app as well. Encourage all your viewers to do the same, because nothing is easier than having, your favorite program.
Make sure to download our app on iOS or Android, GBKM on either platform.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Show. I'm your host, Jacqueline Dixon. Excited to be here with you today. We're going to spend just a little less than an hour together today learning about some opportunities that have been brought to the table, specifically for the Black community and the business owners within the Black community. We have been so honored. I say honored because I have been seeking this interview for some time patiently, and I'm really happy to know that we were granted the opportunity to interview one of the key players in the program for the Black community, and that is Susan Henry. And I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce her to my Ordinary People listeners and viewers. Good afternoon, Susan. How are you today? Welcome to the Ordinary People Show.
Good afternoon, Jacqueline. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day in the GTA, and I know you're probably bursting to get outdoors just like me. So let's give it our best today to the listeners and viewers and get out there and enjoy the sunshine when we're done.
Let's go. Beautiful weather.
Okay. Now, once again, I'm going to introduce you as Susan Henry, and you are the manager of community investments with Alterna Savings Credit Union. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Fantastic. I know you've got a lengthy resume. I've seen your bio. It's impressive. But you know what? Because this is the Ordinary People Show, we do things a little differently here. We keep things really simple. We have conversations here. And as a result of that, if you could just take the opportunity to maybe introduce yourself in somewhat of a more personal way to our listeners and viewers. Tell us, what is a manager of community investments? What is that title?
Yes. So actually, I've been with Alterna Savings Credit Union for 20 years. So I celebrated 20 years in last year. And as the manager of community investments, I play a role in strategically guiding our community microfinance program, which provides access to financing and affordable products and services for underserved communities, particularly women, new and racialized immigrants, youth, and the BIPOC community. And as part of my role and being with Alterna for 20 years, I lend my expertise to policy. So playing a role in policy making on different programs as it relates to community economic development and community microfinance and financing for underserved communities.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you so much. 20 years, congratulations to you for that. That's a huge achievement. So let me ask you a little bit more now. Alterna, so the name is Alterna Savings credit union. I know that we're familiar with, I've heard some people use the term Alterna Bank. I've heard that some people use the term Alterna Savings. Can you maybe break down or differentiate for us if there is any difference at all between a bank and a credit union, and where Alterna fits in, please?
Yeah, so Alterna Savings, first of all, is a full service financial institution, and it's been the good in banking since 1908. So Alterna is made up of Alterna Savings Credit Union and this wholly owned subsidiary, Alterna Bank, which is a digital bank. And Alterna shares its expertise with more than 186,000 members through a network of 36 branches across Ontario. Now, a credit union is very different from a bank because a credit union is a member-owned cooperative. The members have a say in how a credit union is operated. And one of the big differences, our profits don't go to shareholders like you would see in a bank. They actually go back into the community, making sure we can provide the best service. Things like our community microfinance program is how we give back to communities, and through other forms as well.
Wow, that is so interesting. Thank you so much for breaking that down. I knew that there was definitely a difference between a credit union and a bank, but understanding the dynamics of how a credit union operates from the back end could be the very difference or the very reason why an individual would choose to do banking with a credit union versus a regular, quote unquote, financial institution. The fact that you are rewarding your members. Now, when you say members, are we talking about clients, like the people who have a bank account? Are they considered a member?
We are called members because, again, you are owners. And so to be a member, when you open your account, you have an active member share. And that member share gives you a voice. You get to participate in how the credit union operates. You get to vote for the board of directors that sets the strategic framework for how we operate. And members can, be nominated and become part of the board as well.
That's
I look at it as a family.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that explanation. Okay, so Susan, going a little bit further into the background of Alterna, I think it's very, very important for me to just clarify for my listeners and viewers, for those who are just joining us now, or maybe for those of you who are watching us on the replay, that although your position is manager of community investments, serving specifically the underserved communities, as you've said, not specifically Black, but you did identify the communities as being BIPOC, right? Yes. So you would be serving anybody who fits that BIPOC profile with your department. Is that
just within our department?
Within your department,
Alterna serves all members.
Good,
right?
Good.
Our members come from many diverse backgrounds. Within Canada, as a credit union, we serve almost anyone. If you want to be a member, anyone can open an account and be a member of Alterna. And many of the benefits we have, just like, any other financial institution, you're going to have banking accounts, you're going to get access to many different services like online brokerage, investment management services. And, like I said, we have 186,000 members and growing.
Awesome. Good stuff. So I think why that was important for me to ask is so that my listeners and viewers understand that you are here representing Alterna and not any of your own private interests, although within Alterna you are specifically serving the underserved communities. You are here in the capacity of an employee of Alterna.
Exactly. And just to say, those underserved communities, again, are women, new and racialized immigrants, low-income individuals, anyone who wants to start a business. I just say those who are underserved through traditional mainstream financial institutions.
Good stuff. So, Susan, with you being the manager, then I feel I feel even more special today, knowing that you are sitting at the decision-making table, I assume for the most part, when these decisions are being, or these concepts are being brought to Alterna about how to better enhance, encourage, or inspire members of the BIPOC community. Can I assume that you would be one of the individuals sitting at the decision-making table when these programs are come about?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say when it relates to community microfinance and underserved or community impact department. So I'm part of what is called the community impact department that sort of have three buckets: advocacy and leadership, resiliency in terms of our community resiliency program, and our community microfinance program. So I sit definitely at the table in terms of the strategic direction on how community microfinance is going to be operationalized internally and externally of Alterna.
Congratulations once again. I had to get that one out because being a woman that is heavily invested in the advancement of Black female leadership, I wanted to make sure that I got that one in. Now, on May 31st, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Because the reason is because the dates have changed. The goalposts got moved about a week ago, or if not 2 weeks ago. But I believe that we got it right now. So on May 31st, which was Monday of this past week, there was an official launch that took place, a virtual launch that took place that involved key players of a brand new fund, which is called the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. I was present for the launch. I was excited to watch the launch live. It involved our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. It involved the president of Alterna. I saw him give his speech as well, and other key players, including an organization called FACE, and some others as well. So what took place at this launch was the unveiling of a program called the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. And my understanding, and here's what my understanding of this fund is. The Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund is a partnership between the Government of Canada, Black-led business organizations, and several financial institutions. It will provide loans of up to $250,000 to Black business owners and entrepreneurs across the country. That's correct, Susan?
That is extremely correct, Jacqueline. I'm so excited about this loan fund. And I'm excited because, we're going to start to see capital flowing into our community, much needed capital, because Black Canadian business owners, they had continued to face systemic barriers in starting and growing their business. And we know during the pandemic, during COVID, we saw the needs were more apparent. So I applaud the Government of Canada for working to address these long-standing barriers. And again, one of the ways is what they're doing, creating pathway for access to capital through the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund.
Fantastic. Good stuff. So my understanding is that since the announcement took place on Monday, the application process has now started. And they are accepting applications for the funds through the Federation of African Canadian Economics, in other words known as FACE, which is an organization that comprises of various different Black-led organizations within the country. Is that also correct?
That is correct. We were, I was present at the table when this fund was being developed as a co-design participant financial institution. And, FACE was, they bring good things to the table. And I am really pleased that there will be capital up to $250,000. And I'm especially pleased that credit unions are playing a strong role. So Alterna Savings and Vancity we are going to have the first microloan pilot under the loan fund. And I can tell you that this is a loan fund, a pilot that I advocated for, with support from Alterna, because Alterna, being in the microloan space for more than 20 years, we knew what it was like for entrepreneurs to have even a small amount of capital. So I'm really pleased that, the credit unions will be offering loans between 10,000 and 25,000, and the pilot will be in Ontario and British Columbia. And then, we're going to have larger loans from 25,000 to 250,000 from the Business Development Bank. And like you mentioned, this will all go through FACE. They're going to be the intakers and the administrators of the program.
Okay, thank you again for the clarity. Fantastic job there. So let's break it down a little bit more for individuals for the vast number of Black entrepreneurs that are out there watching this show, whether it is live or on demand. We're going to give you some more specific numbers here. So the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund is a component of the Black Entrepreneurship Program, otherwise known as BEP. So this is a partnership, and I really emphasize the word partnership because I'm going to come back and ask a little bit more about, for you to dissect that a little bit more for me. Partnership between the Government of Canada, Black-led business organizations, and financial institutions. So the loan fund is now an investment of $291.3 million to support the success of Black entrepreneurs and business owners. I love the word success. Now, it's going to come in two phases. So we are just entering now phase one. Phase one says that this will involve $33.3 million invested by the federal government. So they're putting in $33.3 million, and $130 million will come from the Business Development Bank of Canada, BDC. Also participating in phase one will be Vicinity and Alterna Savings as the first partners of the financial institution in the launch. So you guys are involved right from the get-go. You're going to be involved from the beginning to the end, Alterna. So obviously you guys are a key player in this. But my question to you is, do you really think that we can use the word partnership if the government's investment in phase one is only $33.3 million? It seems like they've got the least amount of money at stake here.
It is a true partnership. The government spearheaded the initiative in bringing and facilitating the financial institutions to come together and the Black service organizations. And we have investments from, as you mentioned, the Business Development Bank and other financial institutions, along with Alterna and Vancity Credit Union. So I do believe it's a true partnership. And while you may be looking at the 33 million, the government has also put more investment. So when we talk about the Black Entrepreneurship Program itself, it's also made up of the ecosystem knowledge hub where the government is investing into, and also investing in wraparound supports for the programs as well.
And I want you to touch on that ecosystem fund and the wraparound support. Very, very important to me and other for-profit businesses, and also I guess not-for-profit. But we're gonna get into that. But you mentioned that phase one is rolling out in Ontario and BC only. Am I correct?
So let me correct that. Phase one really has two subsets to it. The first is the microloan pilot, which involves Alterna Savings and Vancity Credit Union, with loans of $10,000 to $25,000 in Ontario and BC. And then we have alongside Alterna and Van City, they are larger loans between 25,000 to 250,000 that will be rolled out with FACE in partnership with the Business Development Bank, BDC. And so again, those are the larger loans, and that's national. That will be all across Canada.
And that is in effect right now. We're not waiting for phase two for that to happen.
As far as my knowledge, no. I mean, I'm more up to speed on the microloan program
Okay.
where we played a strong part in designing.
Okay.
So the government announced BDC along with Alterna and Van City. So
Right.
I would say that they're up and ready. But again, that FACE is the one who intakes the
Okay.
applications and work with the participating financial institutions, Alterna, BDC, and Van City to get the disbursements to the Black entrepreneurs.
Okay, got you. Okay, so we're going to talk about FACE now. So, but right now, as we speak, we've got an individual can get anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 right now, assuming that they meet the criteria, by going through FACE, or can they come directly to Alterna?
Yeah, so an individual can get from 10,000 to 250,000. All applications are intake through FACE.
Okay, regardless, they're all
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's find out. Let's get to understand a little bit more about FACE. Because I understand that the second part of the program, I understand the key players coming out in the second phase. We're going to be talking about other additional financial institutions such as the Royal Bank of Canada, BMO, Scotiabank, CIBC, National Bank, and TD. So those guys are coming on board in phase two. Of the program, but regardless, as you mentioned, the funds are all going to be provided as loans, okay, of up to $250,000 to support the business owners and entrepreneurs across Canada. So let's just dissect that just a little bit. A business owner or entrepreneur. So being a Black business owner automatically qualifies me to apply for the loan. My understanding is that the business must comprise of at least 51% ownership by a person of African descent. Is that correct?
So that is the criteria set out by FACE. So FACE will set the eligibility. And as you're reading is exactly what I'm reading. That
Yeah.
A business that obviously has to have 51% Black ownership stake in that business.
Right.
So, yeah.
To
Yes.
be
And
considered.
those are set by FACE. It's definitely not set by
Yeah.
the financial institutions.
Okay, so understanding, again, you're here representing Alterna, but FACE, this organization that is going to be the hub for accepting all applications, they're going to be the hub for the qualifying individuals or organizations as to whether or not they make it to the next stage of the loan process. These guys are the gatekeepers for the money. In other words, they're the gatekeepers. You can't get
Yes,
around
definitely.
not, okay. So FACE is, again, just so that everybody understands, it is an acronym for Federation of African Canadian Economics. And it has a few individuals on the board or the organizing team that might be already familiar to some members of the Black community. I do see some names here that I'm already familiar with. The Chief Executive Officer for FACE, my understanding, is a lady by the name of Tiffany Callender, right? She is the Chief Executive Officer.
Yes, yes.
We also have Nadine Spencer. This is a name that is very well known in the Black community, especially within the GTA. She is the president. She's the current president of the BBPA. Is that correct?
Yes, the Black Business Professional Association.
Correct. So she operates as a secretary with FACE. We've got Victor Paris is a chief lending officer, Ken Birch, entrepreneur loan officer. So these are some names that are in the Black community already that some of us might already be familiar with, and they make up the governing body for FACE, with the exception, I believe, of one or two other key players. Now, I want to talk about what a loan officer is. So FACE, being the organization that accepts the applications, processes the applications, qualifies the applications, there within that governing body are what you call loan officers. So these are the ones that look specifically at the criteria that needs to be met in order to be accepted for the loan, and I assume they would guide you as to whether or not your application has merit or it does not have merit. That's what loan officers are generally here to do. So would you agree with me on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when I think of FACE and I think of their organization and the role of the loans officer. So first, FACE is unique. FACE is a blend of other Black service organizations when you look at their board.
Okay.
And I think that's extremely unique because these Black service organizations, you mentioned BBPA and Black Business Initiatives out in Nova Scotia, they have a unique understanding of the needs of the community, especially around financing and starting and growing a business. So already they've got some seasoned expertise on their board. So, I'm really happy about that. And, the loans officers, again, is unique from traditional financial institutions because while they're going to play a role in adjudicating the loans and making sure the entrepreneur is prepared, it's that, they're doing something that I say we do in our microfinance program where we hold their hands and we guide them and we don't leave them because it's beyond that loan. So the loans officers is going to play a strong role in guiding those entrepreneurs.
That is such excellent information to share today because when I say our experience, I mean people from the BIPOC community on a whole don't necessarily have good experiences when they go through the loan process using the traditional methods that have been out there. They arrive in many cases underprepared, and they leave even in worse shape than when they arrive because they're even more confused as to what their chances are after they leave these meetings. Generally, I don't want to put it right across the board, but quite often with a rejection letter saying that they don't qualify. So knowing that, using this particular organization and having to funnel your application through FACE, if it means that even if you don't go through the hoops right away, you are going to be able to work with a loan officer that's going to help you, that's going to say to you, hey, I need you to put this together, put that together, clean that up, remove that, or add this so that I can give you a yes. Am I going down the right?
Exactly. These loans officers they're from the community and they understand the needs of the community. They understand the businesses that we have in the community that may not be fully understood by mainstream financial institutions. So they're able to guide, but they're also able to help you speak the language that the traditional financial institutions are looking for. So, I look at them as the middle, playing a really strong role in ensuring that the applications are going to be ready for, meeting, the financial institution's approval.
Okay, awesome. So we were just talking about the unique value that FACE and the members of FACE bring to the table when formulating this approval process. But I just want to share with you the organizations in which the individual members of FACE also represent. So we have Côte de Neige, if I even pronounce that. Clearly that's a French-speaking, maybe African colony. But the French de Neige Black Community Association, they have a representative on the governing body of FACE. We have Group 3737. They have a representative on the governing body. The Black Business Initiative as well, they have a representative on the body. Of course, the Black Business and Professional Association, that would be their representative would be Nadine Spencer. She is on that governing body. And Africa Center. So those are the organizations which comprise of FACE, meaning that each of those organizations has a representative that sits that is a part of that conglomerate. So, what is a microloan pilot project? I want you to break that down a little bit more for me because this one seems like low-hanging fruit, if you ask me. I just want to share with my listeners and viewers. Alternative Savings and Facility Credit, which I've never even heard of, by the way.
Yes, Van City Credit Union is in BC.
Ah, okay. Vance, because it's launching in Ontario and BC. Okay, makes all the sense. Van City Credit Union will be partnering with FACE to deliver the micro loan pilot program. And so under this particular program, you're going to be administering microloans. They call them microloans because they're smaller, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, microloans. In this case, we're looking at loans 10 to 25,000, but generally across Canada and internationally, microloans can be as small as $500, to as large as $50,000. So in this case, we are going to be 10 to 25, based on the information we receive back from the community.
And they specifically wanted the microloans. My understanding is they wanted the microloans to go through the credit unions, and their concept behind that is that credit unions have long served underserved entrepreneurs, and they've been a huge help economically and socially in empowering underserved business owners, so that they felt that the credit unions would have a deep understanding of the community and their needs. So this is why they put the micro fund through your organization as well as Van City. Okay?
Yes.
Right. Good stuff. It's good to know that because it's making sense so far, but there are some things, Susan, that don't make sense. Okay?
Yes, the small loans are so important to our community. And as you mentioned, credit unions have a long history of, serving underserved communities like Alterna and its program for the last 20 years. And so, when we went into this initiative and being at the roundtable, it was definitely something we at Alterna advocated for because we know how small loans can make a difference in someone's life. Small loans can be the difference of, putting food on the table, being able to have shelter, just that startup capital that you don't normally see elsewhere is very important to someone's empowerment and self-sufficiency.
Yeah, very true, very true. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about eligibility and what qualifies you, some of the qualifying criteria that could put you in a position to finish up with this interview and get on the internet right away and start applying, or maybe thinking about a plan B for yourself. We're going to clarify who's eligible and who's not to apply. We're not going to tell you whether or not you're going to qualify, but at least we want to make sure that the right people are applying. We're going to be right back after this 30-second quick commercial break. Thank you so much for being with me today, Susan Henry with Alterna Savings Credit Union. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis field.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Ordinary People Show today. We're back with our outstanding guest, Susan Henry. And Susan Henry is the manager of community investments with Alterna Savings Credit Union. We're having a long-awaited conversation that so many members of the Black community have been chomping at the bits to find out, and it's all about the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund that is officially kicked off. Application process has begun, and yes, you can get some relief for those businesses that are in need, and we're finding out more about it as we chat with Susan today. So we talked about eligibility prior to going on that quick commercial break, Susan, and I want you to clarify for me because I've got a lot of questions that I receive from the community. Susan, I'm going to be honest with you. There is a fair amount of misunderstanding that is in the community today. I imagine that you're going to be doing a number of interviews over the next little while, maybe trying to disseminate some of the information that is out there and bringing some clarity to it. And most importantly, bringing some truth to what is and what is not being offered. As far as eligibility is concerned, we have already identified and agreed that a business must have a ownership of no less than 51% to be considered a part of the application process. They've got to be a legal resident of Canada, a Canadian citizen, or a permanent resident, or conventional refugee. There's all sort of kind of loopholes here, or a legal entity owned and controlled by a Canadian citizen or citizens, and be a minimum of 18 years of age. So that is one of the basic criteria that are necessary. But there's also another very, very, very important criteria that has to be mentioned, and that is that this loan fund, this is not for non-profit organizations. You cannot be a not-for-profit organization and seek funds from this program. Am I correct?
You are correct. So the loan fund is for-profit businesses, sole proprietorships, partnerships, and incorporated businesses, and social enterprises that's for-profit. Okay. So you have to be generating a revenue as a for-profit business because you're going to have to show that you have the ability to pay back that loan. And you're going to have to show that with the documentation that FACE will require. So things like your business plan, your financial statements, your projected cash flow, and things like your business registration as well.
Okay, thank you. So here's where the community is kind of got deflated a little bit when it came to the excitement for this program. So in recent months, or the last 15 months, the government has come to the aid of citizens of Canada by providing them with interest-free loans that were set up for all businesses in order to help them through the pandemic. And these interest-free loans were being offered in the amounts of anywhere from 10 to as much as 60,000. And then there were some other very specific loans that were even offered at larger quantities. Again, but all of them were interest-free, and they were available to all organizations. So where I'm going with this is, being a for-profit business, it almost seems like in our community, it almost seems like it's a dirty word, is what I'm getting from a lot of for-profit business owners, that there seems to be very little compassion for the for-profit businesses in our community. It's a tough road to be for-profit and be a member of BIPOC. And when something like this does become available specifically for business owners within the BIPOC community, if you seriously wanted to, if the government seriously wanted to be of help, then why are you charging interest?
Yes, a great question, and there's some clarification notes. And I definitely, as a member of the Black community, and working in a financial institution, and going through this pandemic, COVID-19, and seeing the government programs, I understand the frustration of the Black community, particularly for those who did not qualify. So first, the Canada Emergency Business Accounts, which were loans between up to 60,000. They're not interest free. They're interest free for a specific period in time. And if you don't pay those loans back by December 31st, 2022, there is an interest charge. I believe the interest is going to be at prime plus 5%. So they're not free in terms of, if you have to pay back that. And, some entrepreneurs may be able to pay it back and some may not. If you do pay it back ahead of time, let's say you took the 60,000 and you pay that before December 31st, 2022, you did get a 20,000 deduction. But if you did not, you would have to pay the whole thing plus the interest. Some of the challenges that I saw within our community, and this is really what's going to be important as we move forward, is education. For many of the CEBA programs, you need to make sure that, you had your documentations, your financial statements, you had all of that ready and prepared, right? And sometimes we are a little bit lack in getting that information done. So I think, one of the things that's important moving forward is the education piece, to make sure that, we are prepared, if something like this happens again. And not just that, but we just need to be prepared as business owners.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. For some of the disappointment in the Black community when it came to the CEBA funds was that for organizations that were looking for larger amounts of monies that were not grants, they were actually loans that carried the type of components that you're talking about, where you would not have to pay it back for some time. Those required specific pieces of information that a lot of Black business owners, for some reason or another, they lacked. And that made it impossible for them to participate in those programs. But I can't imagine, and maybe you can correct me where I'm wrong, those very same documents that the government would have asked for, FACE will also be asking for them too, will they not be?
Yeah. Of course they will be, and that's part of doing business and doing the due diligence necessary to make sure the entrepreneur is successful in the end. So, when you give loans with the ability to repay. So we want to make sure the entrepreneurs have that ability. And so FACE and part of the ecosystem partners that's involved with this will have to do some upfront work in ensuring that the education is necessary. That's something we do in our micro programs. So, you have to talk about business literacy and financial literacy to the entrepreneurs and getting them prepared. Money management, all of that is going to be important when you are starting a business or when you're looking to expand your business. Because, one question that I always ask entrepreneurs when I do presentations, I say, if you had $10,000 and you wanted to loan this money out, what are the criteria you would be looking for? So I always flip the switch, and I'm often surprised.
That's a good one.
At what they're looking for. They're looking for the same thing the financial institutions are looking for, right? Because they want to make sure they're going to get that money back.
Right. Very good, very good. I like that question a lot. Yeah, what would you be looking for? Even if a family member came to you and asked you for monies, what would you want to hear from that family member that would give you the security and confidence to lend that money out? One of the things you want to hear, the very first thing you want to hear is, what is your ability to repay? Am I correct? Yeah.
Exactly.
What's your ability? How are you going to get me this money back? And then that's when you got to sit down with that family member and try to explain to them, well, I'm employed, I have X amount of income, and that income allows me the opportunity to take care of my current needs, plus be able to pay you. So it is very much the same type of process, but it's just being done in a more formal way. So let's talk about one of the formalities that we could really do ourselves a service with in our community, and that would be something called a business plan. Now, this word business plan, for some people, some business owners like I've spoken to this week, it literally, they lose sleep over it, okay? Because as I try to explain to one individual, a business plan is not as complicated as you would like to think that it is. A business plan basically is a document that outlines who you are, what business, service, or product your company provides, and the projection for the amount of revenue that that business could potentially bring in currently and over time. It's really that simple. And then depending on how complicated of a process your revenue stream for your business entails, then that will determine how big of a plan you have. Some revenue streams are very simplistic, but some revenue streams require, like other filters and distributors and contractors, and therefore it's a little bit more complicated. But realistically, it's as simple as that in a nutshell. Am I correct, Susan?
You are correct. So business plans, I often say, is like your roadmap, or if you're building a house, you wouldn't do it without blueprints. So it guides you from A to Z throughout the process. And sometimes at the end of a business plan, you decide whether you're going to be in business or not. But it's something that's useful for the lender, but it's more useful for you to see the strategic direction of your business, to see the capital need that you're gonna need for your business, to look at your marketing plan, see how your marketing strategies operate in your operational plan. How are you getting this product to market? What is the resources necessary? So it is very important. The business plan lets the lender see the business through your eyes, and that's really important. Now, under the microloans, we don't really need large business plans.
Thank you.
Because, the micro businesses are usually, they're small businesses, they're home-based, they may be small business store owners if you're brick and mortar, and not necessarily that large plan for a microloan. But as you start looking for more financing, you're going to have to, put more into that plan. To convince that lender. And the financials are extremely important. They must be realistic. They must make sense. So, you have to do your homework. You have to look at industry statistics when you're looking at your target markets. So it's very important, the business plan, to any lender, and most important to yourself as a business owner.
Thank you so much. But my suggestion, and I think Susan would agree with me, if it's the business plan that is deterring you from applying, please don't let that get in the way. Because I always say, listen, just do it. because within the organization of FACE, as we talked about earlier, you do have dedicated loan officers that could potentially help you and guide you in the right direction of how to clean that plan up, how to make that plan look and work. And then the other thing about a business plan that, as a sales trainer, Susan, I've shared that with you. As a sales trainer, I teach, salespeople and entrepreneurs about the sales process. A business plan allows you to see what is the legitimacy of your business. Does it really have any legs? Could this potentially be a sustainable business or not? So it's a very important process to go through, if for nothing else, for yourself, to be able to see whether or not you are onto a project that is sustainable. So let's now talk a little bit more about the loan itself, okay? So the loans itself that are anywhere from 10 to 25,000, you say, are the microloans that you're handling, and the application process starts with FACE. And when you go to FACE, you are going to a website that will allow you to enter all of your information through the system. And why do I know that? Because I went there, I went and visited the website. I wanted to find out how complicated or how easy it would be to get these funds. So my question to you is, when you go to the website, does it give you the opportunity or the option to select microfund versus the other capitals type funds that are available? And how do you differentiate whether or not you are applying for micro versus the other loans?
Yeah, so I have to admit, I haven't done that walkthrough that you've done. I didn't want to, take time away from an entrepreneur who wanted to put that in. But, we talked this through with FACE, and there are questions like, how much are you looking for? That will help to determine whether it's going to be a microloan or whether it's going to be a larger loan.
I see. Okay, good. So you're not the one to select, I want microloan, I want this. You will be placed in the category that would be by default. Yes, as my producer is saying, that would be applicable to you. So I want to talk about another thing, because we're getting ready to wrap up today. Boy, I've got a million questions I could ask. I want to talk about this topic that you talked about earlier. It's called wraparound business. So we know that there are a number of businesses which, again, are only for profit that can apply for these loans. Do we know what the interest rates are, by the way, for the loans? Do we have any idea what they have been set at?
Well, that will come out on, I believe, FACE website soon. And so they are very reasonable rates in terms of, the microloans and the larger loans. They're very competitive.
Okay.
And so I can't
those
really
numbers
say the exact interest rate.
That's
a lot may be dependent on the plan. Interest rates depend on the risk, the plan, and the adjudication process.
And do you choose the financial institution who will hold your loan, or is your loan going to be assigned to a specific financial institution as a result of FACE's decision?
Yeah, so if we were to look at the microloans, obviously it's a pilot in 2 provinces, Ontario and BC. So if you are requiring a loan between 10 to 25,000, currently that would be through FACE and then through Alterna. And if it's in British Columbia, it would be through Van City. The larger loans, 25 to 250,000, would be through the BDC.
So you're going to be handling all of the microloans between yourself. Okay, that's very, very good to know. The wraparound businesses, again, quickly before we wrap up, what is a wraparound business and how could they potentially benefit from programs such as this?
So my knowledge of wraparound is really around wraparound support services that accompanies a business. So things like the education they need, which could be anywhere from marketing support, sales, taxation. That's a wraparound support that accompanies a business. And those are provided by ecosystems partner. I mean, in Ontario right now, there's many organizations like Black Business Professional Associations or the African Caribbean Business Network, just to name a few, or the Black Chamber of Commerce that provide these types of supports.
Right. Thank you so much. So there's many different ways to get involved. Is what we're trying to get across here, ladies and gentlemen, that if you are a Black business owner, whether your choice is to apply for an actual loan itself and be granted opportunity that way, or to present yourself as a wraparound business that would be assisting businesses that are getting loans by providing your services that obviously are going to be of benefit and value to these organizations so that they can sustain themselves, that is another way for you to benefit as well. Okay? Now, what I just want to tell you, what I went through the application process, but then I backed out. Okay? Not because I it's only because I wanted to see what it was like for the average person to experience. And I will say this much to FACE, whoever, if there is any representative that is watching from FACE, I think they did a good job with this one. I think they did a really good job with the application process. It is not complicated at all, very quick, to the point, and you get a congratulations letter when you're done. And what it says is, thank you for applying to the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. You are one of over, and Lord, this was a couple days ago, it says you are one of over 6,000 people that have been registered and applied. Considering the overwhelming response is a sign that this opportunity was a long time coming, our team entrepreneurship loan officers will contact you shortly. Once again, thank you. So you get a nice congratulations letter, for going through the process. But what more importantly is, it's not a complicated process. So individuals out there who are thinking, should I or should I not? I say, if the need is there, do it. Now, we're going to wrap up, but I want to wrap up by sending again my congratulations to you, Susan, and to the president of Alterna and all that you do for the Black community. You are definitely a lady that is well respected within the Black community, and you've been so gracious to us in ensuring, and in the conversations that I've had with you, I find you to be extremely accurate, very, very professional, and you want to ensure that you bring as much facts as you possibly can before you share information. And not everybody operates with that type of integrity and professionalism, and I just want to congratulate you for doing that. And remember GBKM, okay?
Thank you.
But congratulations anyways, and we're going to be following up, and we're going to be reporting to the community what we find from this program, assuming that it's working, and if it doesn't work, we'll report on that too, right? But at the end of the day, we want to thank you for all that you do, and please feel free to visit us again here at GBKM for any other initiatives that you want to bring to the BIPOC community. We would love to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Ordinary People Show today. That was our exclusive interview with Susan Henry, which is the manager of community investments with Alterna Savings Credit Union. We could have kept her on for hours. As you can see, it was a great interview. Hope you got the information that is necessary. For those of you who are watching this show on demand, please like, share, send us your opinions, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And most importantly, go check out FACE, F-A-C-E, to find out more about the Black Entrepreneurship Fund. And best of wishes to you and your organization for a fantastic and successful 2021. We'll see you same time next week, right here on GBKM Network. Thank you so much. Cheers.
We've got MP Sahota, Minister of Parliament from Brampton North.
And I've downloaded my app as well. encourage all your viewers to do the same because nothing is easier than having, your favorite program.
Make sure to download our app on iOS or Android.